You're listening to your number one station, RX Radio. My name is Fatboy. Hey, how are you doing today? Hope you are feeling very excited and very happy, as you should be. Christmas now just almost less than 2 weeks away. And of course, this being Christmas season, there's a lot to look forward to. Despite all of the challenges you've gone through in life, knowing that Christmas is round the corner has to somehow bring you some joy. And if it doesn't, it means, my goodness, it means you must have a lot of problems. But even so, come on, take a moment to just appreciate the little good that there is. Don't you think that's how to approach life?
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you just focus on everything that's wrong, how are you going to survive?
If you let your mind only go to the things that are negative, then it means that you're going to miss the goodness out of life. Because life itself, if you're not sick, is a miracle, right?
That's right. So appreciate it.
Yes.
You should appreciate it. Well, there's plenty to appreciate, and in case you happen to be a parent, perhaps the thing you appreciate the most about your life is that you have been blessed with some beautiful children, or maybe it's one child. They say that children are a blessing from God, which is why I wonder how you feel, Olive, as a parent, knowing that the Uganda Boxing Federation is advocating for the reinstatement of boxing in schools. Now, as you know, boxing is a rather aggressive sport. It's, people are throwing punches. It's boxing. And it's always entertaining and always fun, but also quite brutal.
Yes.
Now, for school-going children to be subjected to this sport might fill some parents with terror in their hearts at the prospect of their children getting seriously injured. What do you make of this move by the Uganda Boxing Federation in calling for the reinstatement of boxing in schools?
I believe that when it is instated in schools, it won't be like how Floyd Mayweather does it or Golola Moses. It will be regulated, and people don't know this, but actually boxing is a recipe for good, for health, for both physical and mental fitness.
Really?
Yes, and it instills discipline among the people that
But let me
play.
ask you something. You have a son who is now 15 years old.
Yes.
And so obviously this would be for secondary schools, right? So they want to restart these boxing clubs in these high schools. And so your son potentially could get approached to join a boxing club. Would you, as a parent, endorse that? Would you encourage him to join boxing?
I would let him join boxing, a boxing club for that matter, after he's done with school and he's making his own choices.
But they want these clubs in school.
Oh, in school. No, even in school, if my son is fit and he loves the game, I would be up for it. But that's why I was saying I believe schools will try to regulate it and to try to see that there is minimal damage.
You're not even slightly concerned? I mean, your son is he's a gentleman. He's not the most, or at least does not appear to be a very physical person.
He's not a physical person,
okay.
But some people have been said to have seemingly been weak, and then they joined some sports and they became strong people.
No, but don't you remember in high school there were some big boys?
Yeah, there are some big boys, but you see, boxing is a game where you are taught, you are trained, you get to know the rules of the game. So it sometimes I feel like some of these games, it's not about your physical energy, but how good
your skill
are. The skill. Thank you. So if the children are trained well, boxing can be good. And plus, there is another plus for it.
What's that?
Instead of your child taking time in involving themselves in toxic behavior, this is something that is going to keep them, rooted in one good place.
So in other words, it gives them an outlet to channel their more aggressive tendencies.
Exactly.
So rather than say bully kids or commit crimes, take that aggressive energy and channel it into something positive, which is the sport of boxing.
Yes.
Well, I am surprised that you're looking at it that way. I always assume that you are the kind of person who's super cautious and wouldn't want anything to happen to your sweet little boy.
No, I am cautious, but I also believe that I cannot protect my kids forever. I believe that they need to do certain things to protect themselves to begin with.
And in learning boxing,
and to be strong.
Maybe you want a bodyguard. That's why. You want him to become your bodyguard.
No, I can do bad all by myself. I don't need my son to protect me.
Boxing those annoying men who disturb you.
No.
And break your heart. You send your son there to go and beat him up.
I wouldn't involve my son in something like that.
Well, some mothers do. apparently. But anyway, we want to know what you think. What do you think about the Uganda Boxing Federation calling for the reinstatement of boxing in schools? They say they want to develop the sport, and this appeal was made by the president of the federation, Moses Muhangi, while he was appearing before Parliament's Ad-hoc committee that is investigating the usage of funds in the sports sector. And it's like, you know what? They've banned boxing. Let's bring boxing back. We want to know your thoughts on it. You can go to our Twitter or our Facebook page and leave your comment there. Or if you like, you can reach out to us through the RX Radio app and you can join us in conversation here. Tell us what you think. Are you like Olive in believing that it actually might be a force for good, a positive thing for young boys in school to enroll in these clubs and participate and to get disciplined and get training and become strong? By the way, what about girls? Can't girls do boxing too?
They can do it. They can do it. Of course, they won't be fighting boys. So there will be leagues for girls and leagues for boys.
Okay. Well, let us know what you think. Reach out to us to the RX Radio app. Tell us what you think. Would you want your child to enroll for a boxing club? Do we have a caller on the line? Hey! Hello!
Why are you laughing at me, Pius?
Pius? This is Pius?
Yes.
No.
So, Pius, what do you think?
Yep.
Boxing, should it get back in schools?
Wow. So I don't know, but I have reservations
Why?
about that. It falls back to my experience. Perhaps I would say a fixation. So when I was in school some time back, especially primary school, the very first time I went to boarding school, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was this feeble young fella, and guess what? I actually went to boarding school in P5. So guess what? I was almost a candidate, but you can be sure that bigger boys, huge big boys from P7 then would actually come down and ride on us and bully us, and that experience has never seemed to leave my mind, So for some reason, I think when they bring it officially in schools, I think in one way or another, it could curb the kind of violence that's in schools, because, I know it's a very sensitive topic for me when I have to talk about, especially about the experiences I went through back in school,
Well, if you knew how to box, wouldn't the other bullies have feared you?
Of course, now that's the thing, that's the thing. Self-defense, you understand?
Yes.
Yes, self-defense. So I think if at the time, if I had known how to exchange punches, maybe I would have been able to defend myself,
So these bullies, would they beat you up?
Yes.
Were you short?
Yes. And funny enough, at the time I was actually short, and so I'm so surprised where my height comes from.
What I know is that those big tall boys usually bully boys of medium height and of course lean.
So, but now basically giving the discussion perspective, yeah. I think reinstating boxing in school is a good idea, leave alone even the self-defense. But like a sport or like any other sport, it comes with its rules of the game, and these rules of the game instill discipline that just goes beyond the classroom setting.
And it also instills commitment and focus.
Yes, now that is for the committed folks. But for some reason, I think, yeah, you're right, Olive.
Yeah?
You are right, because it instills the focus in the sense that if you're not paying attention, your eye will be blown out. And like that, I might think, yes, it instills a lot of focus and concentration, basically, because you have to be on the defensive as well as on the attacking, yeah?
Yeah.
So, yes, but I generally think that reinstating boxing in school, it will help, one, prepare the children physically. Most of the times, especially when it comes to the compulsory thing in school, yeah? Even the weaklings, even the lovey-doveys, guys who were so soft in school. I think it gives them a chance to build their bodies, to build their immunity physically. I mean, it helps them really build themselves, and I think that's a very good thing because in school I usually see the soccer, but the guys who do not do soccer. But now, where we bring in this, it's actually a good thing. It helps them work out, and in a long run, it actually affects positively the academic progress. Yeah, so I think it's actually a good deal to bring it back. And compared to kickboxing, I actually think boxing is better because kickboxing is quite dangerous, you know?
And I understand that kickboxing is accepted in these schools.
In schools?
Yes, actually, according to what I read, yes, I see it's accepted, but I think it's more dangerous than the boxing is because, you know, the weight of a punch cannot be equal to that of a kick, you know.
Wow.
So yes, so I think boxing is actually better.
All right.
By the way, actually the schools where I come from in Soroti, there is a school that does taekwondo actually, and it's a compulsory thing in school.
It's compulsory.
And, yes,
I think
yes.
taekwondo is good for self-defense.
Yes, for self-defense, yes. But even it also comes with certain disciplines, yeah?
Yes.
Yes. You do not just throw your legs and stuff and throwing people down anyhow, yeah. So I think it's actually a good thing. It's a good thing to incorporate boxing in our curriculum. And yes, even maybe the voiceless will have we'll have a
what are you trying to say? So now, isn't there a risk that we'll just have an increasingly violent society if everyone is a trained boxer? Now that's how they'll be settling their scores, resolving their conflicts.
But I actually don't think so because.
Can I tell you something? Now, Singapore is one of the most politically stable. It's one of the most stable countries, basically politically and military-wise. Do you know why?
Why?
Well, everybody is basically taken to be a soldier, and so there can never be room for upheaval. You understand?
Okay, if you say so. So
in the sense whereby Fatboy can throw punches, Olive can exchange punches.
So everyone is afraid of everyone because everyone can defend themselves.
And apparently, I've read somewhere that the reason why, like Southern culture, like in America, Southern in the Wild West, it's why the diction is full of words of. How can I say? There's a politeness to the diction. And how they behave with each other. You know, they take off their hats and greet each other, and that is because you're in an environment where everyone is potentially carrying a pistol. So it's important for you to immediately communicate that you have no ill intent.
Exactly.
So everyone's polite with each other.
But also the other thing I wanted to tell you guys is that if boxing is introduced in school, you remember, I don't know if you've watched Coach Carter. Have you? Fatboy.
Yes.
So this coach was telling his basketball team that you must have good grades for you to make it on my team.
Exactly.
And because of that, the rules from the game, these kids were disciplined, attending classes, doing their assignments because there was a ripple effect if they didn't do it.
Yes.
All right. So maybe that's what they need to do. If you want to join boxing clubs, just make sure you get straight A's.
And of course, if you want to stay on the team, you're not going to be aggressive with other kids.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
Okay. But hey, thanks so much, Pius, for letting us know what you think about this. Clearly, you're in favor of it.
Anytime.
You believe it would have served you well had you known how to box at a younger age. All right. Well, perhaps.
Don't try me now because I could actually take off someone's teeth.
Because now you're tall.
All right. Take care, man. And
thank you.
Stay safe. Well, I have heard it being said that essentially, especially for self-defense, among the different styles of martial arts and combat styles, that boxing is actually the best, especially when you're looking at sort of street combat. If you're surrounded by a thug or accosted by a thug,
instinct is
boxing, because the problem with the kung fu and karate and taekwondo is that it has a potential to throw you off balance. Anytime you're going to throw a kick, you potentially can trip over and fall or can become immobilized.
Yes.
That's why in a street fight, what you want is to always ensure that you have both feet planted on the ground.
Yes.
And so you are just sending punches to either deflect your assaulter's attacks or in order to knock him out. But ultimately, boxing gives you the best chance of being able to protect yourself.
Other than kickboxing.
Other than kickboxing or kung fu. I mean, you send a kick. If you miss, you end up flying and falling.
And also there is a chance of your assailant to, holding your leg and then
there
flipping
you go.
you over.
Yes, but boxing, you're holding your fists
and
close to your face.
And you're maintaining vision.
Yes, eye contact with your teeth. You send your jabs here and there.
Yes.
And then... So boxing is the way to go.
So if you're not Jean-Claude Van Damme, you don't go around doing splits and
I'm sure
round kicks.
Van Damme, I think if he were caught in a street fight, he'd have his butt whooped. Start doing splits when guys are attacking you. That only works in the movies, man. But anyway, keep listening to your number one station, RX Radio.